Hello, everyone, and ciao to our Italians, and howdy to our Texans. Um, we'll have Kansans joining us virtually, and Joyce Miller will join us momentarily. So, welcome to Toni Kubousek, right? Did I get it right this time, sort of? Who will be sharing Renzulli Learning System Type 2 with us today. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Toni. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, everyone. Great to see you again. It's always exciting. Um, Today, we're going to talk about type twos, which is the students developing their creativity training, their critical thinking through research and investigative work. So I'm going to give you some concrete examples on how students can do that, as well as how teachers can support that initiative as well. So I'm going to shut my camera off because since I am in the dark anyway, I do not know what is wrong with my camera. So I'm going to close my camera and I'm going to pop over to the student site. And let's use inclusion and diversity as our focus today, as we're working through type twos, gathering research and investigative work. And I think if you think about it, there's many ways that students can look at diversity and inclusion. We have some think-alongs that I'm going to show you that would help develop that as well. So first of all, in their enrichment activities, a great way for them to complete type twos is actually to go into creativity and critical thinking. And the piece comes when they start solving, when they start investigating. So here is a creativity activity called invention stories. What a great type two for students to be able to think about inventors, do research on inventors, and at the same time, developing their creativity training. Know-it-all, arts and constructions, theater, NASA. And remember, all of these activities, when they go into critical thinking and creativity training, all of these activities are aligned to their profiles. So it's something that will be engaging for them in as far as for differentiation. If I go into critical thinking, let's take a look at that. Can you remember that face? Don't forget, design a habitat. How fun would that be? Lake Compost, New England's family theme park. Ooh, that's got 132 votes. Let's take a look at what that is exactly. Oh, look at that. It's a timeline of the lake. Very cool. So again, type twos are centered around students do an investigative work, creating data. Hopefully that data and that research turns into a type three. And it's a way for them to develop critical thinking and creativity training as they're working through these. And I often tell teachers that we really don't know what a student needs to know in 5 or 10 years. We don't know what the job market's going to look like, or the world, or the global issues. So students being able to think critically and have the creativity ability is the utmost importance, because then they will be able to figure out what they need and how to critically think on what is best for them. Especially in today's society, it's so important to teach students how to do their own research, how to critically think about that research, ask themselves questions on the bias of an article. And all of those skills are so important to be successful citizen and successful adults. So exploring their enrichment activities is one way to facilitate type 2 activities. Then the other way is to use their differentiated search engine. Remember, this search engine is designed for them. So let's say, for example, that I type in diversity into my search engine and I click search. It is going to bring up activities that match my profile. So let's see what we have here. Research sites, creativity training. Oh, there's 3: American photography, strange fruit, protest music, teaching tolerance, one world posters. So this is Learning for Justice. We have a school that uses this website. This is I think it's in Atlanta, Georgia, and that's why we added this for them. But what a great way for students to be able to expand their knowledge of diversity, what that means, not only what's the meaning of it, but what does it look like in a society? What are ways to improve diversity around the world? Civil discourse in the classroom, stories from the aftermath of infamy, all of these incredible sites. So when a student searches for type 2 activities through their search engine, remember that they're more meaningful to that student in Renzulli Learning because they're based on their profiles, which is pretty powerful. There's virtual field trips they can go on, projects and independent study. Here's one on California missions. The focus of this project is to research the famous missions that started in 1776. And I think too, the one thing I love about Renzulli Learning, it offers students examples of diversity in the past as well as in the future for comparing and contrasting. They can make decisions for themselves on, is that issue more is better today, or how are we progressing towards the way we want our world to look. So as you can see, there are just analyzing a culture. How fun would that be, to be able to analyze cultures from different perspective, learning about other people's cultures. So again, the search engine, and let's say I wanted to look for inclusion. And I'm going to search. And remember, when I use my differentiated search engine to look for type 2s, that all of these websites are age and grade appropriate, as well as matching my profile. Here's one: teaching tolerance, speak up, responding to everyday bigotry. And this is a critical thinking activity. So as the students work through these websites and these activities, that is actually a type 2. A type 2 is gathering information, searching for data towards a topic that you are interested in, or a topic that you're focusing on inclusion and excuse me, and diversity. So I'm going to stop for a minute to see if we need to translate, or if there's anything, any questions that you might have on using the search engine or using the differentiated search engine.
Toni, sometimes I find it a little helpful to go back. Can you go show us again how you get to this point? Like 1, 2, 3.
Absolutely. I
Thank
am
you.
at the student site. And if you are at your teacher site, and you want to follow along, you can go to your name in the upper right-hand corner where it says your name in a white box, and there's a drop-down menu. And one of the options is go to student site. And that will bring you to your student site. And if you have completed your profile, which I'm sure most of you have, your homepage will look like this. And after the student completes their profile, Renzulli Learning generates their enrichment activities that are aligned to the results of their survey of their profile. So I'm going to click on my enrichment activities. It's the second tab. And when I do, I see that my enrichment activities are sorted on the top by genre. So there's virtual field trips, and think about it. Even if I went into virtual field trips, if I start investigating in a virtual field trip, I'm still doing a type 2. Anytime that I choose a topic and I do research, collect data, find out information, that is automatically a type 2. That's what type 2 means. And it also means that as the students are researching and collecting data, they are strengthening their critical thinking and their creativity training. Now, in the enrichment activities, notice there's videos and podcasts, but for today, we're just going to focus on the creativity training and the critical thinking. And they're right next to each other. So I have 113 creativity training. So I'm going to open that up as a student. And this is a way for me to work on creativity training. Know It All, NASA, Bride of Frankenstein. This one is a great site. Let me see if the student, they are in the process of changing that off of Adobe. I've asked them, I tell them that we use that site a lot, but I love it because students really have to think and they have to figure out movements of the characters that they choose for their play. So it'll tell them to go to right stage, left stage. And that really is a great site. So I have asked them if they could possibly tweak their website into HTML. So all of these are creativity training. So here's one on dance. Students can watch a video.
I think any students who think they might want to be a dancer when they grow up.
So if a student wanted to do more research on dance, that would take them to the type 2 where they would do more investigative work, more critical thinking. These know-it-alls are really incredible. Choreograph is problem solving. Who would think that dancing could help with problem solving? Dance performances, Columbia Museum of Art. So again, these are all were in my creativity training. Then right next door to my creativity training is critical thinking. So I'm going to open up critical thinking. Oh, look at this. Space Place projects. Can you remember that face? Don't forget. Design a habitat. Let's go into this book. Oh, I just went there. Where is it? This is one of my favorite sites. I'll have to put the link back in that. Let me see. I'm gonna stop my video. That might be part of the issue. All right, let me. All right, I just got pushed all the way out. All right, so I'm going to go back to the student site. So again, critical thinking. Anytime a student goes in there, it's automatically, and they start investigating and collecting information and doing further investigative work. That's what we call a type 2. And as they're doing that, they are developing their critical thinking and creativity training skills. I don't know why this is freezing up. I turned off my camera. All right. I don't know what I did. It might be my internet too. Let me try Safari. See if that works. All right, there we go. Something to do with Chrome, that's for sure. Also, this is another great area for the students to develop type 2 skills, is personalized activities by subject. Performing arts, if a student is really interested in performing arts, or history and social studies. How about STEM and STEAM? What a great way to develop type 2 skills than by going into this area, which has so many. How about build an insect hotel? Now that would be fun, right? Build an insect hotel. There is a video that they can watch. Design your hotel. Look at that. And then a question would be for them to do research. Why would an insect hotel be important? That is a cool activity. Oh, now all right, let's do this. All right, let's get rid of Chrome altogether. So in their enrichment activities, they can explore my enrichment activities through genre or through subject. All right, so is there any questions about the differentiated search engine or the enrichment activities?
Se avete domande per Toni sull'attività di tipo 2 o sul Renzulli Learning System che vi sta mostrando.
Okay, if there is, just interrupt me. Oh, is there someone?
C'è qualcuno che voleva parlare?
All right. And then the next area that I showed you, if students, you want them to be specific and you want them to search and research and develop critical thinking through using inclusion and diversity, then students can go to their search engine And it's right here on the top bar, or they can reach the search engine by clicking search enrichment activities. So either one of these is a way for the students to open up their differentiated search engine. And remember, again, if students are using their differentiated search engine, the activities that they are looking at are age and grade appropriate as far as the results are aligned to their profiles. So the first one I searched for was diversity. And I'm going to search. And look at all the activities. I have 3 creativity training, critical thinking, videos, and podcasts. What a great way for me to do research on diversity than through a differentiated search engine. Projects and independent study, 10 virtual field trips. Japanese American National Museum, U.S. Holocaust Memorial Propaganda Exhibit, Voices of Civil Rights with an Even Hand. So all of these are available for the students to explore, do research, read, critically think about what they're reading. How does that apply to them? How does it apply to today's society? How can they make their home, their school, their community, their world a more diverse, inclusive, and accepting global world? And also I can go to my search engine and I can and again, it brings up activities that are aligned to my profile. Whoops. So those are 2 great ways to direct your students in developing type 2 skills, developing their creativity training and their critical thinking, is just by using their search engine. If you have a specific topic that you want them to research, or letting them explore their enrichment activities, kind of focusing on the creativity training piece and the critical thinking, which is already outlined and ready to go. Any questions? Now, when students are working on projects, the type 2s are embedded, right? Because if a student is working on a passion project or a project that you've sent them or a project that they are working in a group, every time they collect information and they critically think about that information, that is a type 2. So I'm just going to open up one of my projects. So here's one, a cultural explosion. This one would be great for diversity and inclusion. So every time they go into one of these activities and they collect data and information and think about that information, how are they going to use that information in that project? That is a type 2. And especially if they're collaborating with a partner, right? And they are comparing their views on their takeaway from what they gathered from their research and investigative work. Another thing that I like to do is, let me try this, is go into Super Starters and choose my grade level. And then on my computer, I'll do the find. And I'm going to type in diversity. and I'll look to see if there are any projects on diversity. This one doesn't work quite like Chrome, so let me see. Let's see if it's working. There we go. Okay. Culture explosion. Another great area in my projects for students that are developing those type 2s in focusing on diversity and inclusion. I'm just going to go over to the super starter, and they can look at social action, or they could look at helping in their community, and that will bring up the activities in our projects aligned to that. Create a public policy. Now, how cool would that be to have all of your students maybe working on this same project, gathering research and information on something that is important, an issue to them, where they would like to think about a solution to that issue and create a public policy for that. And you have those policies in your classroom as a model, how to treat one another with respect and and making sure that everyone feels included. Maybe the topic could be create a public policy centering around diversity or inclusion. How cool would that be? So again, these are just some ideas on looking at diversity inclusion for type 2s through projects. Government in your community, go green for the environment. Instant millionaire, well, that would be a good one. Another thing too is, for example, I just saw one on banned books. You know, what a great debate to have is banning books. Are there certain students or teachers that would feel not to be included? If there was book banning, is that right? The pros and cons along that line. So there's so many ways to teach diversity inclusion just on what's going on in our world today. And Renzulli can help the students find reliable sources to debate that and to look for research. And I tell kids, when you debate, it should not be on what you feel, but it should be based on the research that you gather, and using your creativity training and your critical thinking to come up with viable solutions after you've done your research and investigative work. So any questions so far, or anything that you would like to translate?
Okay. May I ask you a question, please?
Absolutely.
Okay. I would know why this wonderful, amazing word it didn't translate in Italian. Prisma.
Oh, the profiles?
Yeah.
The profiles are in Italian.
All the Renzulli learning system. Why we can't use it with our child, because our child have not the language level for support this activity.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I know that, let's see. That might be something that I can ask them about, but the websites would not be in Italian. The directions and everything would be. Now, depending on if you have websites, all of you from Italy, if you have websites that you use for your students, if you go up, I'm on the teacher site right now. See where it says submit your resources?
Sorry.
Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
You can submit any sites that you use to Renzulli Learning. And we will add it to where that would be available for your students.
Tony, I'm going to jump in here because I have experienced similar situations with French. Okay, when I work with in France. So if I'm going to just kind of think this through for a moment, and so Martina, try to help me out here. Okay, for instance, let's say I have a student I'm working with who is French. The student, is the profiler in French or not in French, Tony?
Let me look.
I know it's in Italian. The profile, maybe I'll just use Italian as the example. So the profiler is in a number of different languages. So that's good because that's a professional kind of assessment that we cannot do. Let's see. I don't see it in French, but it is in Italian. So that's good. So you can get started with the profiler. Now, let's think about this. If the results are all in English and we go to a website, it's possible, I have found using Google, to translate any website. So there's a button, Francesca, I see you nodding there. Francesca says, see. So when you go to a website, you can translate it into any language. So for instance, Tony, if help me out if you think that I'm missing something, but I think it should be possible, number one, to do a profiler in Italian for my student. And then I have all those websites. And it might be a little difficult to tell, is this a good website for me or not? But if you can figure out that, yeah, this might be one I want to look at, once you go to that website, you can usually translate any website into another language. So could we try that, Tony?
Sure. So
Did that make sense, Martina? Do you know what I'm saying? There's usually, and I think I can at least do it in Google.
Yes, and I think that it's really useful to teach English. Okay, yes, we can translate, but we can use it to teach English in Italy, I think.
It's funny that you bring that up. I had a meeting this morning with Korea, South Korea, and that they asked the same question, but they teach English as a second language. So they're going to use Renzulli Learning for that purpose. We're getting, the one thing we are doing is doing the profile in their language. So that's a great point as well. Connie, if you tell me how I translate, do I have to download something from Google?
Okay, well, why don't you go on, and I'm going to experiment with it separately on my website with Renzulli.
Okay.
And then go ahead with your lecture, Tony.
Okay.
And then when because I may have to kind of play around with it a little bit, but once you're into a site, you may be able to right click it there's usually a way to translate. So I'll go ahead and I'll
translate to English.
there
is
we
all-
go. So, but we don't want translate to English. You want translate to Italian, So you could change that, Tony, where it says English right
Here
there.
we go. I got it. Right.
All
here.
right. I think you're on to something because see, it says Google Translate. Now click, choose another language and then choose English from the drop down. I'm sorry, Italian. And let's just try it. Tony, I know you're not going to be able to read anything, but these sites. Could we try it? a
Oh,
little bit?
look at that.
Okay. So Tony, can you do the next part of your lecture doing it that way? Do you think that'll be too confusing?
It will
Thank
be
you.
for me.
That's a
I
wonderful
understand.
news.
Okay, but Martina, can you explain to everyone that is possible?
All right, let me see what it
Okay.
does to the actual website.
Yeah, because normally you can do that. So now we have two
Oh.
languages.
Look at that.
Et voila.
That is incredible.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Very
so
good.
no problemo.
Oh my, do you know?
So that's a lifesaver, isn't it? Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Connie.
Well, it's Google.
Well, yeah, but
Okay,
still.
all right. Well, thank you for asking that. Who was that asked?
Let me
Elisa?
try something. Let me go to the student site. And I'm gonna right click. Hello, look at that. So let's go up to the differentiated search engine.
I knew you could do this, Tony.
Type in, let's put in inclusion.
It's a little unnerving, but
Wow, I'm impressed. This is going to help me out so much with so let's say that kids leaving let's go into when kids feel left out, they're not included, and let's translate. And once you choose your language, it automatically goes to that language. Look at that. I am just.
now I'm going to say that we don't think Google's perfect, right? So you may find some weird stuff in there, but you'll know, when it's really off.
Wow. Okay. So that definitely answers that question for not only you, but for other teachers that have asked me how to find Spanish sites.
Okay,
And,
bravo. Thanks for asking. I
yes.
always say the Italians ask the best questions.
They do. They do. Does that answer your question? Do you feel comfortable on how I did that? I'm not sure who asked the question. Was it
Avete domande?
I think it
Quindi
was
l'abbiamo anche in
Elisa.
italiano.
Martina, prima avevo scritto in chat, forse è passato, chiedevo per la scuola dell'infanzia se ci sono livelli adeguati e che tipo di approccio, visto che i bambini non leggono, devono essere comunque guidati all'utilizzo.
Okay, so my colleague asked, what about for children in the kindergarten, how they can use Renzulli learning system because they don't know read, and so if you, Toni, can explain us more about kindergarten children. Thank you.
right? A couple of things. My grandkids have been on Renzulli Learning since they were 4 years old. And the first thing is when they first started using Renzulli, I sent them things. I sent them sites. And then when they got really good at Renzulli, I gave them keywords to search, things that would take them right to the activity to where they didn't have to read as much. I also, oh, go ahead.
Oh, Toni, this was Connie again. I'm sorry. But as you were saying earlier, if the profiler is already set
Project
to the grade level. So if the profiler has been set to the kindergarten grade level, the websites should come up appropriate for a younger child, no matter what language it is. So hopefully, I guess you could try that, Toni, with a kindergarten level.
Yes,
But
it does.
it wouldn't be as text intensive.
Right. But I do try to send them. I have some great sites that I send my grandkids when they first started using Renzulli Learning. And then I provided them with searches. So let me just change my account. Let me go to my teacher account and change this to a kindergarten student, because that will change the results of my enrichment activities. Whoops. Chrome is not cooperating today. All right, here we go. So I'm going to change my, because right now I am a 6th grade student. So I'm going to change it to kindergarten and click submit. So now I'll go back to the student site. And go into my enrichment activities. Let's see what kind of online games I have. So here's one, does weather affect animals and plants? So it takes them right to the game. Here we go. I think I want to move faster than my internet is working today.
There goes a ride showcasing how plants react to the different kinds of seasons. Can you help me figure out whether my understanding is correct?
Wow, it sounds like he's in the room, doesn't it? So that was a kindergarten activity. Science the kid. Dance mat typing. Well, that would be fun. So as you can see, with the kindergarten site, there's not as much reading. It kind of, it just takes the kids to the activities. So this is typing.
Hi there, rock and rollers. We're going to have us a blast. Got those tapping feet on the ground? Then we're ready to rock and roll.
Follow Gary's instructions to learn the moves you'll need for typing. Look at the records on the bottom bar to see how far through you are.
First, kids, find me 2 keys, F and J, each with a bump. Left pointing finger on
Okay.
the F. Type an F.
Okay, first of all, I could listen to that guy all day. And second of all, that's a great site. That'd be great for Dylan. This is my favorite site for kids, this Room Recess. There are so many incredible activities for the kids to do, but I think my favorite is the reading. And they can do it on their iPad or they can do it on a computer. So as you can see, like Connie said, remember that the websites are age and grade appropriate. All right. Oh, look, you can even translate this one into Italian. Oh, it doesn't do the actual activity. It does the other things. I'm going to work on that. That's awesome.
Tony, another thing, because audio is another story, isn't it? And speaking of stories, I know that there are books as part of the enrichment, and some of them are audiobooks, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
It seems to me that maybe we did this last summer. You showed us how to translate some of those into another language. Am I remembering that correctly?
That is, yes, but that's the International Children's Library.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find ebooks.
So would those show up maybe in profiler results when they do the
They
enrichment
do,
activities?
or they do, or the teacher can look for them. And let me see what we have here. This is the University of Florida. I don't know if you can, let me see if you can, oh, how pretty. My mouse, there we go. Yeah, the International Children's Library, but they have changed their site. I don't know. I think we were redoing that. Let me go to the teacher site and see if it's still there. That's the one that I showed everyone last year. So I'm going to go to my Teach tab. I'm back at the teacher site again, and I'm going to go to my search engine. I just typed in Children International. No, see, I think we've removed, let me see if I can find it this way. Oh, here we go. So I typed in International Children's Digital Library. So let's open up one of these. Around the World with Children. Yeah, they've changed their format. Let me go back. We've taken a lot of them. Yeah, they have, let me try it this way. See if I can get to it. Here we go. We need to redo the link is all we need to do. So this is where children can find books in their native language. So let's see, let's go to books by language. And we'll go down to Italian. Well, I know there's more than one book, so. Wow. But I will definitely look into that, Connie, how we can do that. I had a little first grader that taught himself Italian using the International Children's Library. He would read the book in English and then he'd read it in Italian and he'd keep going back and forth. And he taught himself how to speak Italian. Can you imagine first grade? He was a highly gifted child. But I will look into that, Connie, on the International Children's Library.
Okay, thank you. I know that we're just about done with the time here, and I know that we're planning to send registrations in. Can you tell me again, Toni, who I send the names to at Renzulli for register their username and passwords?
Oh, you can send those to for registering students and teachers. If you just send it to Renzulli Learning Info, let me.
Okay. That's okay. I'll find it. Yep. I was trying.
Yeah.
I know there's a person that helps.
Yeah, her name is Yen.
Yen. Okay.
She will
that's
do
good.
that for you. She's amazing.
Okay. Thank you. Martina, do any
And Connie,
of
if
yes,
you
Yen.
need more credits, just tell her that I approve them.
Okay, I'll
And
copy
she
you on
can
that.
add them.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, we want to thank Toni for joining us again. We're just about out of her time there, but that doesn't mean that we need to, she may need to leave us for other appointments she has, but we can stay and answer questions for those of you from Italy and Texas who are with us today. So Toni, thank you again. And we'll look forward to hearing about the sound and how we might be able to, that may be a little trickier, but it's good to know that we can do the web pages in other languages.
I'll leave you with this while you're talking, and I do have another PD right away, but these think-alongs, if you type in think-along with no spaces, these are great for discussions on, there's a lot of them focusing on inclusion and diversity. And they are absolutely fabulous. They come with lesson plans. I wanted to make sure you saw these.
Do you have to put the word diversity in, or
no, you just type in think along with no spaces. And these are just incredible. Here's one on women's rights. Can data be unbiased? Is access to water a human right? Should everyone eat a plant-based diet? Should historic buildings be preserved? Here's one on urban agriculture. Should we eat more bugs? I'm going to say no. I don't think I need to debate that. But these
And did you say these can be translated also?
That I don't know. Let me find one and see. There's just so many. It's just amazing. Let's do start thinking as access to water a human right. The thing about it is that these are set up with all kinds of modes of learning. So whoops. So it offers students the opportunity to watch a video, to listen to podcast, there's a TED Talk, and then to take a deeper dive. The only ones that I would say that could translate would be to take a deeper dive. I don't think, unless you could do closed caption, I don't know if you can choose a different language maybe for the closed caption.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're here at the world famous Exploratory.
Yeah, I don't see where it lets you choose a language, but I'll do research on that. But I wanted to make sure that you saw these because there is a lesson plan for the teachers. There's graphic organizers that your students can use right on. They can type right on it and save the PDF to their desktop and then open it back up to add more investigative work. So these are perfect for type 2s. Absolutely, these think-alongs definitely develop critical thinking, looking at issues from both sides, not just one-sided, and developing their creativity training as well. So I want to thank you all very much for having me. I really enjoy my sessions with you. And thank you for all of your great questions that you ask. You keep me on my toes and you make our company better because your great questions transforms into us making improvements. So thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Toni, and
Thank you, Toni. Thank you.
So Martina, are there other questions, or Joyce from, I know you both have students and they may need to go eat dinner or lunch, depending which country they're in. So are there
I don't
other
have any
questions?
questions.
No questions?
No.
Okay. We have just sent the enrollment list. Audrey updated it. So we have put in, Audrey will share the password. Basically, the password is Renzulli and the username is the email address that the participants gave us. So we're sending that right now to Renzulli. So I hope by the end of the day, everyone who's completed their consent and the pre-tests will be enrolled in Renzulli. And then we'll start the process with their students as soon as those consents and pre-tests are available. Okay, does that make sense?
So Martina, we probably want to make sure that all of the Italian teachers picked up on that method of how to right click and whatever it was it right click, Connie, on a Google page to train?
Actually, I'm not sure how
Translation.
Toni did that, but I usually right click. Yeah, we can kind of experiment with that.
That could really help them in a lot of areas.
It does, yeah. And it looked pretty, I mean, it looked pretty on target. I think Google's really improved it over the years. So,
and even with those videos with the translation, the captioning thing, there probably is a way to translate the videos, the audio. Thanks, everybody.
okay, Joyce, can you stay on for just a few minutes after we finish here? Okay, I'm going to stop recording. Thanks.
Grazie a tutti.
See you on Thursday for Audrey's talk on, she's going to talk about leadership with female leadership in the sorority system in the United States. Okay.
Ci vediamo giovedì con una lezione sulla leadership tenuta da Audrey.
And that will be at 12 o'clock or
Sempre alle 7 di sera.
yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much. Ciao a
Grazie
tutti.
a tutti.